everyone, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bin, where we go behind the proverbial trash bin and we break down some of the builds we do here at Puppet Trash. My name is John Steiger. I am the garbage guy here at Puppet Trash. This week on Puppet Trash, I kind of made my own dream come true. I took my old childhood bed sheets and I turned them into the puppy of my dreams. In this video, we're gonna take a look at the materials we used to make this puppet puppy. Puppy. We're also gonna look at some of the mechanics behind it, some of the good, some of the bad, some of the fun, some of the not so fun. So let's go behind the bin and check it out.
Yeah.
Without further ado, here is our recent build, our little puppy out of old bed sheets. I love him. I absolutely adore it. I think it's so cute. It's so much fun to play with. But let's break him down a little bit so I can tell you kind of how I constructed this build. The inspirational trash behind this were my old bed sheets. Much like a kid in the 90s, I'm a 90s kid. A lot of people had these 101 Dalmatian bed sheets, or like Disney style bed sheets. So I had these old bed sheets. And my parents were moving from their old home, and my mom was like, hey, do you want these? And my brain was like, yeah, I can make a puppet out of those, which is, again, pretty much how I look at things. And like, can I make a puppet out of that? Great, let's do it. I've been sitting on these sheets for a while trying to figure out what to do. There's so much style of puppetry, especially in theater, that's like this, where, you've got the animal and it's being controlled by these rods and the puppeteer is, there, but you're not really focusing on me. You're looking at this cute little guy and all the things that he's doing. So I really like that style of puppetry a lot. I think it's a great theatrical illusion or element. My Neighbor Totoro is really big into it over in the West End. They do a lot of this style of puppetry. So I had the bed sheets, and they were very specific kind of bed sheets. These are very clearly Dalmatian. So I finally got that tiny bit of inspiration to be like, let's put the hat on a hat and make the Dalmatian sheets into a little puppy. And so that's essentially what we did. So the outlay here, all this is all the bed sheets here. His little paws are also bed sheets that I just cut up and sewed together. I made my own little pattern for it. I wish that these were a little bit longer just to help with some of the movement, but his stubby little legs are so cute. So the feet, the tail, the ears, they're all bed sheets that I cut and sewed together, and then the filling for like the tail and the paws are just like brown paper that you get in an Amazon package that they use for packing and whatnot. So that's kind of the filling. I was gonna use proper stuffing, but I didn't really have any, and it's not technically trash, but this is. So keeping a little thematic in that respect. The main body here is a Poland Springs water jug, probably like a gallon jug that's round. It's a rounded gallon jug, and it gives a nice little, sorry, look at his butt. We'll try to censor that. It holds its shape really well, and it's insanely light. So we can do this, as long as we want. We can manipulate it a lot of different ways, There's a lot we can do with this because it's strong and because it's so lightweight. So we can do it for long periods of time, but also it's not gonna go anywhere, which I love. The head is a carton that had apple cider in it. The cap for that is actually his nose. So this is the actual cap that was on this container. And there was a handle that went here, and I debated about keeping the handle, but then he would have had like a more rounded nose. But I think the dip in it is a lot better. So I cut the handle off, and I am actually really happy with it. I think the shape of the head's really great for getting the snoot of a dog, which is wonderful. And then you've got the idea of where the eyes would be. The nose, of course, is the big focal point. So, when we're trying to put our focus somewhere or our intention, it's very clear what we're trying to do. The tongue is more of the sheets. The sheets had like a red edge along them, and so I just cut that off for a little bit of a tongue to give them some of that fun little character. And then the handles I have here, they are just wire hangers.
I told you, no wire hangers ever!
It's just one old wire hanger that I had, and they work really well. Again, he's very light. He's very light, which is great because You know, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can move them really easily. It gives this little like, excited puppy energy, but also if wanted to, I could do it for long periods of time without feeling fatigued. So the mechanics of this puppet are very, very simple. Basically, it's these two rods here, these two hand rods. The head rod here obviously controls the head. The neck here is not connected. They're two separate pieces. The only way that it's connected is it's glued on the inside here, but there's nothing in the middle. And then this is all one piece of sheet fabric that's wrapped around this water bottle. So it's all one continuous piece that I cut down and glued and tucked in here and there and kind of draped. Everything was gonna stay together. That's what gives us the good motion with the head, is that it is its own separate piece. And we just control it with this head rod here. We wanna look left, we look left, we wanna look right, we look right. I love the profile of this puppet. I think it's so good. You know, up, down, 360. We have so much movement that we can do with the head, and I think that's so important for expression and focus and all the good juicy things we want in puppetry. And for the body, all we need is this rod here, this body rod here. Again, just that simple wire hanger wire that we're using, and to make him move, all we have to really do is just shake him, and we can, we can make the tail wag and bound and things like that, all depending on how we manipulate this one little rod here. Part of the awesome bit about this is how the legs have been done. So the paws essentially funnel up and they make two little lips that have been glued onto the bottom, and then they've been sewn right there. They've been sewn a little bit there, so it gives it that kind of floppy motion. So it's not really, the legs can kind of go wherever, but it doesn't really matter when, we're focusing it with the head, and if we need to like slow down or stuff like that, and it gives us that really good sympathetic movement there. So it's a very simple mechanically, but I think it on the whole, when you put it all together, it makes something really special. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode of Behind the Bin. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for staying and watching. This was a really fun build, and now I have my own dog that's not gonna pee on the floor or shed anywhere, or you better not pee on the floor. If you enjoyed this video and you wanna keep up to date with all the crazy stuff that we're doing, give us a like. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out, and it lets me know what you guys like to see. If there's a special piece of trash in your life that you want to see turned into a puppet, or a certain style of puppetry that you really want to challenge me with, let me know. Leave a comment. I'm all ears. I'm ready for a good challenge. And as always, my friends, stay cool, stay kind, stay creative, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye. 1, 2, 3.